Hey everyone! Today let's dive into something pretty huge that's happening behind the scenes in the pharmaceutical world. We're talking about a massive shift in how the medicines we all rely on are actually made. And it all really kicks off with one simple question.
You'd think it would be straightforward, right? But the way it's been done for decades is surprisingly slow and complicated. And that question, well, it gets right to the heart of a major problem the entire pharma industry is now scrambling to solve.
So why now? Why the big rush to change a system that's been in place for so long? Well, it turns out the industry is facing some serious and growing pressure from pretty much every direction.
To get a sense of it, just think about the scale we're talking about. Every single day, manufacturers have to churn out literally hundreds of millions of individual pills for a global population that just keeps growing. The demand is absolutely relentless, and it's not slowing down. And meeting that insane demand is one challenge, but doing it at a low cost, that's a whole other ballgame. With all the public and regulatory pressure these days, the message is clear: get more efficient and bring costs down. And to do that, you can't just make little tweaks to the old system. You have to completely reinvent it. And that reinvention, that rethinking, has led to the solution. We're talking about a full-on manufacturing revolution that's finally taking hold. Okay, so the difference between the old way and the new way is like night and day. The old method is called batch processing. Think of it like baking cookies one small tray at a time. You mix the dough, you bake a batch, you let it cool, you clean up, and then you start all over again. It's a stop-and-go process that can take weeks and involves multiple steps in different places. The new way? Continuous manufacturing. Now imagine a non-stop factory conveyor belt. The ingredients go in one end, and perfectly finished cookies come out the other in one single uninterrupted flow. It's faster, it's safer, and it all happens in one compact space. And here's the real kicker. While this is a game changer for pharma, it's not some brand new, unproven idea. Not at all. Industries from food processing to electronics to petrochemicals have been using this exact approach for decades to make things better, faster, and cheaper. So really, pharma's just now catching up.
So what was the spark? What finally lit the fire under the industry to make this change? Well, it turns out it was a perfect storm of key events and powerful players that created this unstoppable momentum we're seeing today. And once things started moving, they moved fast. This wasn't some slow, gradual shift, it was a real tipping point. You see it right here. In late 2015, the FDA basically gave the green light, encouraging this new tech. A month later, a top FDA director is on Capitol Hill pushing for it. A few months after that, boom, the first drug made this way gets approved. And right on the heels of that, big companies start pouring serious money into it. The dominoes just started falling one after another.
What's really cool is that this push isn't just coming from the government or from companies alone. We're seeing these powerhouse collaborations pop up. You've got a pharma giant like Novartis teaming up with a research titan like MIT for a whole decade. Then you have these huge consortiums like CSOPs, which brings together top universities and equipment suppliers, all to tackle the technical hurdles together. Everybody is getting on board. Okay, so with all this momentum building, what are the actual tangible benefits? What's making this switch so incredibly compelling for everyone involved? Just let this quote sink in for a second. It's from a deputy director at the FDA. A process that used to take an entire month could now be done in a single day. That's not just an improvement, that is a staggering leap forward. But it's not just about speed, not by a long shot. Because the whole process is one continuous, automated flow, there are way fewer chances for human error. That means higher quality and safer medicine. The equipment itself is also a lot smaller, so you can shrink a massive factory down to a much smaller footprint. And get this, if you need to make more product, you don't have to build a whole new, bigger factory. You just run the line for a little longer. It's a smarter, more efficient, and way more flexible system across the board. Of course, this all sounds amazing, right? Which probably has you wondering, if this technology is so great, why isn't every single drug company on the planet already using it? And you know what? That is a totally fair question. The industry, by its nature, can be pretty cautious, and there are some very real fears and obstacles that have definitely slowed things down. When you boil it down, it really comes down to two big hurdles. First, the fear of the price tag. We're talking about a massive capital investment to rip out old, familiar equipment and install brand new manufacturing lines. And second, there's the huge challenge of retraining your entire workforce on a completely different way of doing things. These are not small worries, they're major concerns. So, to help companies get over that hesitation, smart tech suppliers are creating a new path forward. They've built these incredible innovation centers where a drug maker can come in, use their actual drug product on a full-scale system, and get real-world data. It's basically a try-before-you-buy model for a multi-million-dollar factory. It completely de-risks the decision and gives them the confidence they need to finally make the switch.
But you know, the biggest driver might be the simple fact that the old way has hit a wall. The industry has basically squeezed every last drop of performance and efficiency out of batch processing. Any tiny improvements now are just way too expensive to justify. There's just nowhere left to go with the old technology.
So it really leaves us with this final thought. We're moving from a world of slow, separate, manual steps to one of seamless, automated, non-stop flow. It really seems like the future of how our medicine gets made is going to look less like a series of workshops and a whole lot more like a single, smart, continuously running factory. And that could change absolutely everything.